Hey everyone, it's Deja with knitandcrocheteverafter.com. Today's stitch pattern I am calling heavy puffs because it's a puff stitch and it's pretty heavy fabric. It's very thick. So grab the pattern below and we'll get started, and I'll talk more about this stitch pattern after we do some rows. Okay, this pattern has a multiple of 2, so it's very easy for your foundation chain. Just do any multiple of 2 for however wide you want it. There is a special stitch, it's called the 3DC puff or 3 double crochet puff. It's real simple. We'll get going and I'll show you how to do it. Our first row though is just going to be single crochet, so we're going to skip that first chain and single crochet across. I've done a multiple of 10 so we can get through these rows quickly and you can learn the stitch pattern faster. And we'll be on row 2 in just a second. You can work in the bottom bump if you'd like a better edge. If this was going to be the edge for whatever you're working, you can do the bottom bump instead of the back loop like I'm doing to make it a little bit prettier, whatever you like. So for row 2, we're going to get started. We're going to do chain 3. It's going to count as a double crochet, so that means that we're going to skip that first single crochet that we did, and then we're going to do a 3DC puff in our next stitch. So you yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over again and pull through the first 2 loops on the hook, and do that 2 more times. So yarn over, back in the same stitch, pull up, pull through the first 2, yarn over, back in, pull up, pull through the first 2. And now we got 4 loops on our hook. We are going to yarn over and pull through all 4 to make that puff. Then we're going to chain 1 and skip our next stitch, and we're just going to puff again. So we're going to do another double or 3DC puff, so 3 double crochets in 1. A tip for getting through all 4 loops easily is to point your hook face down and you'll slide through nice and easy. So this is the stitch all the way across, just a chain 1 and then a puff. Once you get to the very last stitch, we'll do something a little special, which we're almost there. And it's really not that special because you did a chain 3 at the beginning of the row as a stitch with no chain between. Same thing here, we finished a puff and we're just going to do a double crochet in that last stitch. We're not doing a chain 1 after that last puff. So that's row 2. Moving on to row 3. Row 3 is super easy. We're just doing single crochets across. So just make sure you're hitting every single stitch. So you hit the puff, you hit the chain 1 in between. You should have 10 stitches when you reach the end of the row or whatever your multiple is. So as long as you're hitting each of those puffs and each of those chain 1s, you should be good. Oops, I've got a knot. Not right now, not working. Oh, easy knot, thankfully. I love untangling yarn. It's one of my relaxing things to do. So I have that last puff I just did the single crochet in, and I have this turning chain 3, so I have to remember to do the single crochet in the top of that, otherwise I will lose a stitch. So that's our repeat. That's it. 2 and 3. We're doing chain 3, puff stitch. They're going to be stacked on top of each other because they're just mirroring what they did in the row, 2 rows below actually. So just remember that very first puff is right after the chain 3 and that there is no chain 1 at the end of the row. It's just going to be a double crochet in that very last stitch, and then you're going to come back and single crochet across, and you're going to get this nice dense stitch pattern of puff stitches, which I think would be cool for a beanie and a scarf set. I think it would be very warm because it's very dense. Even with this chain 1, the holes are not big, but it has a cool texture. And the back side is pretty cool looking too. So I think it could be used as a scarf and it wouldn't be, you know, ugly on either side. You would just have more 3D texture on the front because it is the puff, and it would be flatter on the back side. But very cool. I like this stitch. It's got a cool feel to it. If you want to make it more drapey, use a bigger hook. This is an H hook with medium worsted, so it's very dense. Great, like if you're trying to keep the cold out, but if you want it to be drapey, like a real drapey scarf, get like a J hook at least. So that is the heavy puffs. I'm Deja with knitandcrocheteverafter.com, and thank you for watching.